All right, guys, welcome back to the Dean's List. I got a very special person in the house today that popped in and is sitting on the couch, the Dean's List. And guess what? She got A today. She's keeping it that way. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. We got Miss Robin Kelly, the 2nd District Senator. Congresswoman for Illinois. She's here today. She's going to be telling us a few things about herself. So please tell us about yourself. And thank you so much for coming on to the Dean's.
Well, good to see you. And thank you so much for having me. I love that name. But I am Robin Kelly, the Congresswoman of the 2nd Congressional District of Illinois. I've been in this seat for almost 13 years, but you know that I've worked on every level of government. I worked for the Village of Matteson. I was a state rep. I was Alexi Janulis's chief of staff and Tony Prewinkle's chief administrative officer. So I've been working for a while, in government.
So now you're moving on. You're moving on up. So you're going to the next level. So my questions to you are this. At this point in your life, what made you feel that you wanted to go from representative to senator?
I've been thinking about it for a while. I wanted to run before, but I decided to step back and really didn't know if this opportunity would occur, but it has. And I feel like I am well prepared. There's no question in my mind. As I said, I've worked on every level of government. I've gotten meaningful legislation passed in the House and have brought back $1.2 billion to my district. And I think, thank goodness for a wonderful staff. We get an A or A+ in constituent services. I hear it all the time, whether I go to the grocery store, the cleaners, once in a while, the movie theater I can get to, that people are very complimentary of what we've been able to do. And we've actually brought back millions for our citizens that the government has owed them at least every year, $1 million. So now I'm ready to serve all of the people of Illinois. I've done it before as a party chair. And again, being Alexi Janulis's chief of staff, that was a statewide office. So I've worked up and down the state.
So as far as holding offices, how long have you been in this range? How many years have you been?
Well, I was a state rep for 4 years. And then I left to work for Alexi for 4 years. And then Tony Prewinkle 2 years, and now next month I will have been the Congresswoman for 13 years. I came in special election.
13. Now let me tell you guys something. Congresswoman is a lady that deals with everybody. I'm loving her. You see, I'm comfortable with that. But she deals with everyone, and that's the reason why we want you to come on to the Dean's List. We want the people to see the real side of you. So, what are some of the issues that you're going to really go right in once you're senator to go in and tackle?
Well, actually, I'm dealing with a lot of the issues now. I'm the chair of the Congressional Black Caucus Health Brain Trust, and then I'm on the health subcommittee in Congress. So I do a lot of healthcare work. And even though, we had the Affordable Care Act passed, but still too many people don't have health insurance. And because of this president, even less people have health insurance, or they're paying more for their premiums.
Wow.
So that will always be near and dear to my heart. And then I ran 13 years ago on gun violence prevention, even though we were able to pass legislation. But we know we still need to do more.
Right.
There's still too many people that die, whether it's suicide, homicide, or accidents from gun violence. We need to pass, for instance, the Safe Storage Act. 8 kids a day die because their parent, guardian, they were visiting, a friend, and that parent or guardian didn't have the guns locked up safely.
Right.
And then the other thing near and dear to my heart, and this is from, working for the Village of Matteson, I know how important economic development and economic growth
That was my next question.
Oh, yeah.
As far as jobs and everything in our neighborhood, how are you working on those things?
Well, I'm running on a platform of people over profits where finally millionaires, billionaires, and corporations pay their fair share. We pay our fair share of taxes.
Yes.
They need to also, where we can invest in housing and affordable housing. We can invest in healthcare for everyone. We can invest in economic development and economic growth so people have economic opportunity.
Right.
For instance, when this president came in, he pulled back on the Inflation Reduction Act, and that hurt environmental jobs. There were a lot of people trained in solar, and then the solar jobs were paused or stopped, and that affected a lot of Black and brown people. and you didn't have to necessarily have a college degree, but a decent paying job.
Right.
And they were trained, union,
Mhm.
but those jobs had to stop because of what he did. So definitely reversing some of the damage,
Yes.
that he's done, but also we need to invest in, like, I love one of the gems in my district is the Kankakee Career Center.
Okay.
And the students go to school in the morning, and then they go to whether they want to be a police, fire, cosmetologist, graphic artist, something in tech, and go for training in the afternoon. And we need more of that to expose our students to what are the possibilities, and for them to, see if they like something. You know what I mean? Like, try it out.
Okay, definitely. So as far as the schools are concerned, right now, the colleges, I'm going to go to the college level. What are you doing with that as far as the people with their financial aid and things like that?
Well, we need to put more money in Pell Grants. We need to lower the federal interest rates. That's the other thing. I'm the co-founder and co-chair of the caucus on predominantly Black institutions. We hear a lot about HBCUs, which I support, of course, and more money for them. But then the Chicago states get left out, the Prairie states, the South Suburban, the Governor states.
The smaller schools.
The smaller schools, and they're not HBCUs. They're minority serving institutions or predominantly Black institutions. So we started a caucus to make sure that they receive the resources that they should receive. So I work very closely with some of those institutions. I've brought back money to some of those institutions in my district.
Yeah, and and the thing that we're worried about right now, a lot of people are saying, well, where's Congress? Because we see so many things that's going on with the president that's sitting there right now. So how do you feel about that with the president being in office and then a lot of things that he's doing? We're in a war right now, which a lot of people saying is not a war, but what do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, he is running amok. That's the bottom line. He has very incompetent leaders around him. I filed impeachment papers against Kristi Noem, and I'm happy to say before we had to get there that she's gone.
That was one of the things that you were championing. That's one of the things that you were championing.
And I mean, many people felt like that. At 190 co-sponsors on the impeachment papers, and I would say even Republicans, if you looked at some of the hearings, know that she wasn't doing her job and she was not a competent leader. She really, led a reign of terror across the United States. But some of the things that he's doing through executive orders, or he's just doing them, like this war, he never came to Congress like he should have, and he just started the war. He said he was going to be the president of peace, the unifier. And I think there's been 7 countries that he's been involved in attacking. I mean, taking the Maduro was not a good president of Venezuela, but are we going to go around taking out all the people we don't think, are good presidents? People don't think he's a good president, so someone come and kidnap him and put him in jail. He does have those 34 felon charges. He charges. He was found guilty. Yeah. And so no, we don't like what's going on, but my colleagues on the other side of the aisle have ceded their power, and it is a numbers game. They're in charge, Republican. So, I mean, some of them have crossed over and joined us, like when it came to the ACA premium tax cuts, when it came to the Epstein files, but not enough, for us to be able to defeat him. Now, on the Senate side, because you need 60 votes for a lot of things, we can hold him a little bit, but he just does. He doesn't care if he's going against the Constitution, breaking the law. He just does what he does, So, and the Supreme Court has given him immunity if he's, doing his job.
So how do you, once he's out of there,
hallelujah.
Once he's out of there, how quickly do you think we can get things back to normal?
Well, hopefully when he's out of there and there's a Democratic president and there are Democrats, in the House and the Senate, or at least regional Republicans that are not afraid any longer, we can get more done. We did a lot under Joe Biden. I mean, people quickly forget, but like I just said, the Inflation Reduction Act, we got the first gun violence prevention bill passed in 30 years under Joe Biden, the lowest Black and brown unemployment under Joe Biden, the first Black woman that became the Supreme Court justice. So we did a lot, under him, still not enough. And the thing is, when we take over, we cannot go back to business as usual. It wasn't good enough before. It was better, but not good enough. When we think about, now what's going on, 310,000 Black women have lost their jobs. What's going on with immigration? People just being picked up off the streets and taken to countries they're not from, so just different things. The wealth gap is still there, for too many people. The farmers are suffering because the dismantling of USAID, then the tariffs, and then what he did with SNAP, lowering who was changing who was eligible for SNAP. So he's done a lot of damage, and we're not going to be able to change things overnight, but we need to move quickly. Because I've been in Congress 13 years. I've only been in the majority 4 of those years. 4 of those years.
Okay. So as far as moving forward, we got all the gas prices are going up. You notice that?
And up.
And up and up. So that would be one of the things that you guys will tackle too as soon as you get into.
Well, I think that depending on what happens with the war, I mean, we produce, a lot of our own, but it's just we have to go by global standards. And so it's not that we're depending on them so much for it, but there's just a standard we have to go by. But I think that will come down, as hopefully there's an end to this war.
Yes. Do you see an end coming quickly, or do you see that this is going to be drawn out?
God, I hope it's not drawn out. I mean, we've already lost 8 people and the damage that's done. And then also the other part of it is that Iran is attacking not just Israel, but attacking a lot of different countries. So they feel like they were pulled into it because of what we did. So there's a lot of fence mending we're going to have to do with our allies and other countries, not just because of this war, but a lot of different things.
So we're going to have to work with these allies to get them back in our corner.
Oh, definitely. And we're trying now. We work around him, but Greg Meeks, who's our head of foreign affairs, like he went to Copenhagen when with a team of people when the president was talking about, either we're going to buy or take Greenland, just things like that. Now he's talking about Cuba, like I said, what he did with Venezuela, but he's spending so much money. I think it's on the war, 3.7 billion so far. And some people here are not eating. They don't have health care. They don't have a roof over their head. They can't afford childcare. They don't have a job because of Doge and different things that he's done.
That's right. So a lot of people right now with the voting that's going on, how is voting turning out? Because we're so worried about what's going on right now. A lot of people's mind is like, what's going on? So how's voting going right now?
People need to vote. That is just the bottom line. That is just the bottom line. We just lost Reverend Jackson, and he marched with Martin Luther King, and people gave up their lives for people to vote. And I know people feel like it doesn't make a difference. You see, it makes a difference. It makes a difference. If people haven't learned that from Trump 2.0, and all kind of people. My district is urban, suburban, and rural, and all kind of people. Democrats, Republicans, Independents. So if you don't vote, they've been very affected by his leadership or lack thereof. So from what I'm hearing in certain places, voting is up, but everybody needs to vote. That's just about, that is your voice.
That's right.
And also, when you think about, especially in local elections, people have won and lost by 2 votes or 5 votes and, different things like that. So it is very, very important.
If they're voting for you, what number do they punch?
They have to punch 2. Easy to remember. I'm the Congresswoman from the 2nd District.
The 2nd District? Punch 2, guys. You got to make sure you punch 2. We got somebody in the house that even after she gets elected, I'm saying that, even after she gets elected, you'll be able to walk up and talk with her. That's what we love about you. In our neighborhood, we love you. We know that you are a person that you can come out to and you can speak to, and you're going to get things done. I see you working. I've seen you working very, very hard. So we're looking forward to you doing some things in the neighborhood.
Thank you.
And the first thing that you're telling people right now is that if they vote for you, what?
If you vote for me, I promise I will work on affordability and accountability every single day. And I will never, ever forget the Southland, because the Southland has been so good to me, so supportive of me. And I know the needs more than anybody else, running for this election and what has to be done. And I plan on doing it.
You heard that right here on the Dean's list. She plans on doing that. You got 8 a day. You got to punch 2.
One is bringing the airport.
Yeah, bringing the airport.
We've been working on that.
Talk about that. Yes.
Oh no, we have not stopped working on that at all. You know, I have a gem in my office that is an expert on the airport. He worked under Congressman Jackson also, and he's still with me. And we are actually, I know it's hard for people to believe, 90-something% there. It's just now we're waiting on the state.
How many years have that been? It's been so long.
Years. Yeah. Many years. Probably 25 to 30.
25 to 30 years. But it's well worth it.
No, definitely. It will be transformative, you know, in the South suburbs. Just like something I worked on, standing on other people's shoulders, but Pullman becoming a national park, that has been transformative, you know, to that area on the far south side of Chicago. There's businesses coming. There's a bunch of tourists coming. You know, there's, you know, more restaurants. The hotel is being revitalized. So it does make a difference. It does make a difference. And economic development is so important. Like the Obama Library is going to bring economic development.
And he's having that on the 19th, right? The grand opening?
In June.
June 19th.
We just have to make sure that the people that have been there, that they are comfortable. They don't feel like there's not a place for them anymore when they're the ones that have held the neighborhood down. Okay.
But definitely you're going to be involved in that.
Yeah, it's my district.
It's your
That's my district, the Museum of Science and Industry. In fact, I have Allgale Gardens. I just brought $1 million to Allgale to their youth enrichment, accountability, entrepreneurship, accountability, and empowerment program. We brought $1 million, $1.2 million to Jackson Park and the Museum of Science and Industry. So more accessibility, more safety, and money in the Southland and down. My district is so large, from Chicago to Danville and then west of Pontiac. Wow. So I got to spread the love. You got a lot.
So have you been throughout these areas?
Oh yeah.
You've been running.
They know me well.
She's been running, guys. She's been running.
I've been, from north to Carbondale.
To Carbondale, my school. Yeah, I went to Southern.
You was so.
That's right, and you went to Eastern.
No, I went to Bradley University.
Bradley.
But I have a PhD from Northern.
From Northern. Okay. So let me ask you this. I just got to touch on this. These files. I just got to touch on it.
That's fine.
What about these files, and why aren't we hearing more about the situation?
Well, we've done, everybody voted finally, except for one person in the House, at least, to get the files out. And they continue to play games. And what the game is, they just don't want to call the president in. And, they called President Clinton in, his wife in, who had nothing to do with anything, but they are shielding him. But, we haven't forgotten, still working on it. And actually, people have been coming, like Pam Bondi with her rude self came, to a hearing, and other people have too. No. Believe me, we have not forgotten about the files. Rokana and Massey, my two colleagues, have really been the leaders, but and they have the support because, we should not be protecting, the wealthy, well-off, well-connected people and pedophiles.
Let's talk about the funding too when it comes to voting. How has that been going for you?
Yeah, we need campaign finance reform. I'll be the first to say, and I've said it, my opponents on each side are trying to buy the election. They have lots and lots and lots of money. But the thing is, just because you have the most money doesn't mean you're the most qualified, or you've done the most, or you will do the most. Like I said, there's no question that I'm the most qualified person running. Yeah. But, one is paying people to, endorse, and the other one, 73% of her donations has come from one billionaire family, the Pritzker family. Right. 73%.
73%.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
So, they want her in. They're trying.
They want something.
They try.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And we need campaign finance reform because good people don't run, good people don't win, and good people don't stay in because they don't want to deal with the rat race of constantly having to call and, ask for money. But it is expensive, to run. Right.
So with our viewers, how do we get the funding to you? Because you need funding still right now. So how do we do? Can you tell them?
Yeah, they can just go to robinforsenate.com and everything will pop up.
And pop up and they can send money right.
Yeah, they can donate.
Okay. No amount makes a difference.
No.
Just do
whether
it.
it's $5 or more,
Just
you know,
do it.
yeah, just everything helps, you know, because it's very expensive to be on TV, on radio. You have to pay staff,
Right.
you know, signs cost a lot of money,
Right.
and all of that, everything costs.
Right. So you guys make sure that if you go, say it one more time,
RobinForSenate.com.
RobinForSenate.com. You guys go on there and make sure that you do something, because we want to make sure we get you in here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And will you be coming back around like you normally do once you become senator?
Well, I live out here. This is my home.
This is your home.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. I know you are. I'm just messing with you, but I know you will be. And so your office, will you still be in the same location, or would you be that?
Well, I know, looking at what Dick Durbin does, he has an office in the federal building downtown, and then he has an office in Springfield. And I think he has one even further south. But as I said to my staff, if we are fortunate enough to have this seat, it'll be hard to take my office out of Matheson.
You've been there so long.
I know.
Yes, yes.
But state rep and
yes,
Congress.
Yes, you.
And then in the treasurer's office, we actually opened satellite offices all around. So we had a satellite office in Riverdale.
Okay. Okay.
I'll never forget the South.
She never forgets this. Never forgets. That's what we love about you. So voting started already. Early voting has started already. The actual vote day is
March 17th.
March 17th, guys. You got to make sure you get out. What we want to do is we want to thank Congresswoman for coming out and sitting down on the dean's list. She does have an A, and she's keeping it that way. And we want you to know that we want to thank you for just taking a moment out with me today, and the viewers that watch the dean's list. And we want to make sure that they get out and vote for you.
Well, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you. We've known each other a long time.
Many years.
Thank you. As I said, I'm looking forward to serving as U.S. Senate. So what I've done in the second, I can do for the entire state.
You heard that. You heard it right here, sitting on the dean's list couch. Definitely. I really appreciate it. We know you got a lot to do today. What's your next steps for the day?
Well, I have one more debate to go. And then I'll be on the trains, shaking hands and talking to people, and going to some small businesses. I've visited about 50 small businesses all around the area, just to hear how they're doing in their plight. And
so do you have everybody that needs do you still need help with people to get out?
Well, they can go to Robin for Senate and volunteer.
They can volunteer.
They can sign up for volunteering.
So you guys can still volunteer to get out. And let's push this and
phone banking.
Phone banking.
You know, and we just ask people that support me, call 10 of your friends and tell them, you know, vote for this woman.
Vote for Congresswoman Robin Kelly. That's what we say. We definitely thank you for coming on to the Dean's List. I appreciate this. I know my production guy appreciates this. We've been anticipating you coming out today.
Well, thank you so much.
And nothing but love.
And back at you.
Okay. Guys, you've been on the Dean's List today with Congresswoman Robin Kelly. She's the best. Vote 2. Punch 2. Right?
Correct.
Stay blessed, guys. You've been on the Dean's List.